Hello everybody and welcome to my second video for the week. As I've said in my previous video, this week's pull was huge. I didn't want to put it all into one video, so here is number 2. First up, we have issue number 8 of The Scumbag. I've been keeping up with The Scumbag since issue number 1. Comes out every month. First of all, this series is not for children. It is full of nudity and language. This is as foul as it gets in the best way possible. We're continuing the story with Ernie Ray Clementine. He's still unsure who he wants to set his allegiance with because he's promised all three of them that he's going to do what they're asking of him. Central Authority being the middle ground. Basically, the police trying to get him to stop Scorpionus, who is the far-right, Nazi-driven hate group. And Moonflower, the people on the moon who are far-left super hippies. Ernie has agreed to help all three of them because all three have offered him the same things: sex and drugs. One of my favorite parts about the Scumbag, he drives a flying Pontiac Firebird Trans Am, and Rick Remender himself has said on Twitter there is going to be a model of it coming out soon. This issue is probably the most serious issue in the series so far, and I enjoyed it. Every issue before was pure satire. This issue we kind of got more backstory of Ernie. We saw the backstory of Sister Mary. Him and Sister Mary share their backstories with each other because the leader of Moonflower did some hippy dippy stuff to Sister Mary. Made her more susceptible to talk about her feelings instead of being a jerk all the time. I love this series. This issue was fantastic. Like I said, the most serious so far in the series. The Scumbag, check it out. Issue number 9 comes out next month. Next up, we have one of my absolute favorite indies out here right now, Ultra Mega number 3. First, it's $7.99. Worth every penny. Every page in these comics are 1 in a million. I would pay $7.99 for a page out of this. They're all beautifully done. They're so unique. There's not another series out there on the shelves like this right now. It's beautifully well done. Last issue, our protagonist, Noah, he defeated Redgar and he's sold out by his people to the Kaiju clan. Noah's taken then to this big arena to fight with the Kaiju in ancient Rome style combat. Beth is kidnapped by some other Kaiju, smaller Kaiju, which is kind of weird because they're all huge, but these ones aren't. My favorite one that kidnaps her is this one named Crabfish. He looks pretty fucking goofy. And it turns out that these Kaiju are building giant robots. I want to know what their intentions are. Are they trying to fight the Kaiju clan themselves? What's the deal here? But all I know is these robots are huge and it looks sick. James Herron's imagination is on its own scale. Here in this panel, we see a Kaiju. He's in the arena with Noah to fight other Kaiju, and instead of fighting, he just decides to slit his own throat, as you can see here. It was, as I read it, it was pretty funny. Noah and the rest of them that are chose to fight these Kaiju, they have 3 options. You have Strax, Rip Bash, and my personal favorite, Boosh. I'm not going to tell you that much about Boosh other than Boosh was my favorite, and all I have to say is justice for Boosh. Hopefully in the next issue we see Noah actually become an Ultra Mega. Next issue ends the first story arc, and I'm really looking forward to it because I'm not going to spoil anything, but the end of this issue, it's a pretty big cliffhanger, so I'm hoping next issue really brings it all back together, and I hope we see Noah become an Ultra Mega. If it's not Noah, it's going to have to be somebody, right? If you love giant monsters, if you love blood and guts, pick this up, you guys. Ultra Mega is so much fun. Alright, next up, we don't have a single issue. We have a trade paperback, volumized collection of issues 1 through 5 of Homesick Pilots. My buddy Tom is the one that told me that I need to get on this series. Tom, thanks for recommending this to me, buddy, because this series is sick. If you like punk rock, if you love horror, I really loved all of the punk rock references and the skateboarding as a skater. This series is like if the Power Rangers, Monster House, and the Twilight Zone got together and they wrote a book with the Misfits playing in the background. This series is a lot of fun. We have our 3 main characters, Amy, Buzz, and Rip. They all 3 play together in a punk rock band called the Homesick Pilots. The legend has it there's a house on the hill in the town that it's haunted, and it turns out it is. Amy enters the house and she goes missing. I love this page of the map of the house. It's really cool. It kind of reminds me of Scooby-Doo. So then it turns out Amy's working for the ghost in this house, going to retrieve haunted objects to return to the house to make it whole again. This story is really good. It's creative. It's different. I love the colors throughout the book. I love the mood. I love the setting. It's set in the 90s. Homesick Pilots. Check it out, you guys. Here we are at the end of the video for my second pick of the week. I'm probably a little biased because I really do love this series, but this issue, Kyle Higgins has been claiming that this issue, everything changes, and boy, it did. Radiant Black #4. This book was nuts. I'm not even going to tell you that much about it because I can't give away anything. So I'm just going to show you a couple of my favorite panels here. But holy crap, this Radiant Black is the next big thing. I've been saying it from the get-go, and I'm saying it again. The art in this book flies off the pages. It's so beautifully done. I love the colors. I wholeheartedly believe this series is the next big thing. If you watched Invincible, if you've watched The Walking Dead, this is the next big deal in comics and media. As I've said in my previous video talking about Radiant Black #3, LA-based band Crisis Couture has written a theme song for this series. I'm going to leave a link for it below. Check it out. It's really good. Sam Ewing, the man that composed the theme song for the intro to AMC's The Walking Dead, he's composing a song for every individual issue of the first arc of Radiant Black, and they're all super good. They're super cool. Check those out. I'm going to leave a link for those as well. I'm fully invested in this series, and you guys should be too. I love a good superhero comic book. But there's nothing better than an independent superhero comic book, right? Not from the big two. They don't have to play by any rules. And I'm going to tell you right now, in this issue, they broke every single rule, and I'm living for it. It is great. Radiant Black, if you're not reading this, you need to be. Thanks so much for tuning in. I got a lot of positive feedback from my first video. I actually got the written approval from Alex Packnadell, the writer of The Immortal Hulk Time of Monsters, so that was pretty cool. Alex, thanks, buddy. New Comics Day is every Wednesday. This week I got 5 comics coming out. Support your local comic shop. Like, subscribe, share, comment. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week on the Weekly Pulls, guys.